Welcome back on this Thursday. Let's just get started with Exodus 34. We're going to be starting with the first verse. Again, my daily reminder, read the whole chapter, even though I'm not, so you get a better understanding of the whole. Verse 1. The Lord said to Moses, "Cut for yourselves 2 tablets of stone, like the first, and I will write on the tablets the words that were on the first tablets, which you broke. Be ready by the morning and come up in the morning to Mount Sinai, and present yourself there to me on the top of the mountain. No one shall come up with you, and let no one be seen throughout all the mountain. Let no flocks or herds graze opposite the mountain." So Moses cut 2 tablets of stone like the first, and he rose early in the morning and went up on Mount Sinai, as the Lord had commanded him, and took in his hand the 2 tablets of stone. The Lord descended in a cloud and stood with him there and proclaimed the name of the Lord. The Lord passed before him and proclaimed, the Lord, a merciful and gracious, a God, merciful and gracious, slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness, keeping steadfast love for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, but who will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquities of the fathers on the children and the children's children to the 3rd and 4th generation. And Moses quickly bowed his head towards the earth and worshipped. And he said, "Now, if I have found favor in your sight, O Lord, please let the Lord go in the midst of us, for it is a stiff-necked people, and pardon our iniquity and our sin, and take us for your inheritance." Great passage. This is fulfilling what God said he would do in the previous chapter, passing before him, declaring his name, and he does. Verse 6, the Lord, Yahweh, I am. Going back to Exodus chapter 3, I believe it is. The Lord, and then it describes who he is, merciful and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness, a refrain that we will hear often in the Old Testament, especially as we look at the Psalms and then the Proverbs. He then goes back to Exodus 20 and talks about what happens for those who obey his commandments and keep let me step back again. Keeping steadfast love for thousands, it says, forgiving iniquity and transgressions for those who trust in him, pretty much. And then he says, but visiting the iniquities of the fathers on the children and their children's children, 3rd or 4th generations. Remember, that shows the greatness of God's love and forgiveness over judgment. Yes, there is the judgment and the justice, but there's more so the love and the mercy that far outweighs his need for judgment. Verse 10, and the Lord said, "Behold, I am making a covenant. Before all your people I will do marvels, such as have not been created in all the earth or in any nation, and all the people among whom you are shall see the work of the Lord, for it is an awesome thing that I will do for you." A covenant. And notice what this covenant agreement is about. The Lord doing great things through Moses. The Lord declaring what he has done, pardoning the iniquities and the sins, taking them as his people and showing the powers and works so that all who are around will know who he is. Let's continue now. I invite you to jump forward to verse 29. When Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the 2 tablets of the testimony in his hand as he came down from the mountain, Moses did not know that the skin of his face shone because he had been talking with God. Aaron and all the people of Israel saw Moses, and behold, the skin of his face shone, and they were afraid to come near him. But Moses called to them, and Aaron and all the leaders of the congregation returned to him, and Moses talked with them. Afterwards, all the people of Israel came near, and he commanded them all that the Lord had spoken with him on Mount Sinai. And when Moses had finished speaking with them, he put a veil over his face. His face reflected God's presence because he had been speaking with the Lord. Again, not necessarily seeing his face because, as we talked about yesterday, we can't look at God in our sinfulness. But yet, there in the presence of God, and because of that, the presence of the God was reflecting, radiating into him, and then him into the people. It's a reminder of what we as Christians should be like, right? We radiate the presence of God in our lives and in our hearts to the world around us who does not believe, who does not know, who needs to know about Jesus. We show his glory through our lives. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless.